My name is Jim Kratzis. I'm with the Gerald Ford Library and Museum, and we are here at the Ford Library in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Gerald Ford knew about Watergate. In fact, when the evidence came out that there was some association with the White House, Gerald Ford actually asked key members of the White House staff whether Richard Nixon knew anything about it. And he was assured that Richard Nixon did not know anything about it. Later on, Richard Nixon nominates, and later on after that, Gerald Ford is confirmed as vice president. And he served from December to about June, July, as Nixon's vice president, defending Richard Nixon, because Richard Nixon and key staff members in the White House had kept telling Gerald Ford that Richard Nixon was not involved in any shape or form with the Watergate break-in. It was only later, I believe it was in July, early August, when something called the smoking gun tapes came out. And those tapes, which were recordings that Richard Nixon had taken, had recorded in the Oval Office, became public knowledge. And in there, it is clearly evident that Richard Nixon was authorizing money, slush money, whatever you want to call it, to keep the burglars quiet. In other words, Richard Nixon was obstructing justice. It was at that time when Gerald Ford felt that he had to recuse himself, to take himself out of a public endorsement of Richard Nixon, because if Richard Nixon were impeached, if he were forced to resign, Gerald Ford did not want that to reflect on himself and himself as the President of the United States.